Today we're going to review the Sarasota real estate data. We're going to look at the median price and some other criteria to determine where we're at when it comes to, is it a buyer's market, is it a seller's market. We're going to look and see how prices have fluctuated, what the inventory level is. We're also going to talk about the outlook for 2024. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Katrin.pfitzenreiter. I'm a real estate broker associate in the Sarasota County, Manatee County region, and I do this type of data analysis periodically. I haven't done it for this channel in a while, and I think it's important because there's a lot of information out there. Some of it is misguided information. The value of this video is really going to be about setting the record straight as to what's been going on in the Sarasota market, and also to help you make a better decision for you and your family. That's really important to me. And so we're going to get right into this video. We're going to look at some data, and then towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you my recommendations of how you can prepare for 2024 to be successful in the real estate world if you want to get in and purchase a home, or maybe you want to sell a home too. I think right now there's opportunities for whether you're seller and buyer. Yes, there's an opportunity for each one of you. We're in a portal called SunStat. It's for Florida realtors only. I have access to it, which is great. We're going to look at sales information for Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton, single family homes as of August 2023. So these are the latest sales data that we have. Let's just work our way from left to right. Closed sales is over 1,000 closed sales, and that's actually up by 0.6% from a year ago. Median sales price, this is really what most of you guys are very interested in. How has it fluctuated over the last few months? Well, it's actually held pretty strong here in the market. It's been up by 4%. $520,000 is now kind of the median sales price for what I would consider an average home in the Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton area. The fact that the prices are holding, or in this case are even up, is quite amazing actually, especially given the fact that the mortgage interest rates are so much higher and there's just not as much buyer demand in the market because a lot of people have now been priced out of the market. But again, this comes back down to supply and demand, and there's just more buyers in the market versus what we currently have on the market for sale. So that's kind of the way to think through this one. Active inventory is up by 13% from last year. And some of this has to do with the fact that homes are just staying on the market longer. Buyers are taking a little bit more time in order to help them make the right decisions for them, where just a year ago, 2 years ago, people were really working under FOMO. And so it was very common for a home to literally go under contract in just a matter of a few days. But buyers are much more poised now in the marketplace, and that certainly is one of the reflections that we're seeing in the active inventory level going up. Dollar volume, that's up by 9.2%. Now, new listings as of August, it was around 1,591, which is an increase of 2.3%. Pending sales is actually down by almost 10%. So we have far less transactions in the market. And so if we talk about a market crash, it certainly isn't a market crash reflected in the median sales price. So it's not crashing in that sense. But when it comes to the number of homes that are being sold, that is certainly far less. Some of it, again, has to do with the fact that there's just not enough homes on the market. Sellers just aren't listing. But now let's talk about what's actually been happening in the Sarasota market. So we're going to drill down even deeper. Now I'm in a portal called Market Quest. It's actually from Coldwell Banker, and it's connected to the MLS information. So it's pretty accurate data. What we're going to do here is look at single family homes for Sarasota, and we're going to look at some stats here just to see how things have evolved. So over here, median list price is now around $739,000. That's the list price. But now let's look at the median sales price. $545,000. So think of the median sales price as kind of an average home. The cost of an average home in Sarasota is going to be around that price point. The prices are down from July, but what's happening now is that we're coming off the summer months, and typically the prices will come down right after July, August, and you'll see some price drops into the winter time, and then buying season resets again in the beginning of the year. So you will likely see prices come down, but it's not any cause of alarm, or it doesn't mean that the market is crashing necessarily. It's just what happens due to seasonality. But now let's look at how prices have evolved year over year. So I always like to compare it year over year, same time period. And if it's up, then typically it means, especially if it's up over many months, that the prices are appreciating. And so if we look at August of this year, the median price is $545K. How does that match up to the same time last year? It's actually up slightly, where at the same time last year it was $515,000. I always refer to the median price because I think it's a much better indication of how the prices are evolving in a market such as Sarasota. If we were looking at a comp analysis, then typically we would want to look at average prices. But in this case, if we're looking at much more of a data set, there's lots of outliers here in Sarasota. High ticket prices on homes, more affordable homes that could really kind of skew the data. That's one of the reasons why I don't like looking at the averages, especially when we look at a holistic data set. Now, if we were to look at maybe a range from $1 to $5 million or $200,000 to $300,000, then in that case, because we're going into a subset of data, it would make sense to look at the average price. But just high level, median price is the way to go when we do a full-on market analysis assessment, and median prices right now as of August have been up. Now, sales price, list price ratio. So right now, sellers are getting close to 97% of their ask price. And so if you're looking to negotiate a price on a home, typically you'll have at least 3% negotiation room here, but a lot of it really does depend on the seller's strategy in terms of their price on the market, how it compares to recently sold comps. So you definitely want to work with a buyer's agent who can really help you understand the facts behind the data and the comp analysis. But just on average, 97% is what sellers are getting out in the market right now. Let's move down to average days on market. It is now 52 days, where same time last year it was 27 days. So it's almost doubled. Buyers are taking much more of their time now looking for homes. They're not rushed into making a decision. So if you see a house that you're interested in and it's been on the market for over a month, it's not a problem necessarily with the house. The house could be overpriced, and maybe the house doesn't show very nicely. But like I said, the average is 52, so it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem with the home. Inventory level is 911 as of August, and that is slightly up from same time last year, slightly. But what's been happening here is look at new listings. New listings is down 392 versus 437 last year. And comparing that to 2021, it is way down. So certainly there's a shortage of listings, and we just don't have much of a selection right now on the market. And that's one of the reasons why buyers are opting in to new construction a lot more so than they typically would, because it's giving them more options. So here's my recommendation. Based on the fact that the 2024 price prediction is one where the prices are going to drop. Certainly that could change depending on what happens in the economy, but I would say that most economists at this point are very optimistic as to what's going to happen in 2024 and even 2025. A lot of it stems from the fact that we just don't have enough listings on the market. Now let's just assume that all of this holds true going into next year. If you're a buyer and a seller, what do? Let's start off with you, the buyer. If you're somebody that's buying, waiting on the sidelines just for a crash to happen, I think is not the best way to prepare. I think wishful thinking isn't going to get anybody anywhere. You're going to be so much further ahead if you plan ahead, if you in fact want to purchase a house in the near future, even in the next 5 years from now. Maybe working towards getting a better job, working with a financial advisor or a mortgage broker to understand what it takes to be able to afford a home today. A lot of buyers, because they've seen how the market shifted so much over the last 3 years and some of these prices literally doubled. I think it's important to shift the mind and settle for a home that's maybe a little smaller, or maybe it's going to be in a more affordable location, because unfortunately money isn't going to buy as much as it did 3 years ago, and most likely prices are just going to appreciate. Now, I will say this, that yes, eventually there's going to be a price correction of some kind, right? Is it going to be 10, 20%? Who knows? In 2008, it was about 20% during the recession. This is not 2008. So a correction could very well be far less. And so if you're waiting for a crash, what if it doesn't crash for the next 4 or 5 years or even 6 years? But now prices are appreciating 4 or 5% year over year. You're likely going to be better off purchasing now or in a year from now versus waiting 5 years from now. And if you're somebody that started to plan ahead and you're saving money and you're doing all these great things to be able to purchase a home, let's just assume the market does crash in 4 to 5 years from now. Well, guess what? At that point, you're going to be even better off because you've already prepared. Now, let's just assume you're a seller that has a lot of cash. This is the second home. And you just want to unload it at this point. I would say now is a good time, again, because there's a shortage of listings. Or you could also wait until the beginning of next year, maybe February. That would be a good time to list your home because now you're in the spring season. And that's typically when prices will go up because there's going to be more buyers in the market. And so when it comes to getting the highest price, it might be a really good option, especially if it coincides with the mortgage interest rates going down. That's what they're saying. Economists are expecting that sometime in the beginning of next year, the mortgage interest rates will come down slightly. Of course, nobody has a crystal ball, but that's essentially what the consensus is saying right now. So if you can wait, then I think beginning of next year is a good time to list, or do it now because there's less listings on the market. Typically during key selling season, there's also going to be more sellers in the market listing their homes. If you're somebody that's looking to sell in the area I work in, which is Sarasota, of course, Lakewood, Venice, and Bradenton, reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about how I can help you achieve your real estate objective. We can have a meet and greet in my office, maybe for an hour, and I can discuss all sorts of strategies with you. If you're somebody that's looking to purchase in the area I live in, also reach out to me. I have a lot of resources to share with you, which I'm sure is going to help you. And thank you so much for watching today. I always appreciate when you guys do. Take care.